Peace from the East, y'all. It's me, Davon Raymond, aka Vonnie. Welcome back to the Peace from the East podcast. We are doing a very early recording of this. Actually, I'll be going to work in a short time. So let's bang out another podcast episode. I feel like every time you listen to one of these lately, it's the same thing where I'm like, geez, it's been a month, man. And then I usually talk about just having some idea for where my life is going, or yap about girls or something. And that's going to be what we're doing today. So I had somebody bring up the conversation around me and me pursuing sexual partners and all that stuff. And I basically was just like, if I had to be true to myself, if I had to be true to how... Good morning, by the way. If I had to be true... I feel like it's too early in the morning to jump right into sex, but but I guess we're doing it. So, our sex topic, I didn't have any. So, basically what I knew, but I found it was difficult for me to communicate this, was I really don't want to have sex. It doesn't matter if the girl is beautiful, if the girl is anything but not my wife, if she's anything but my wife, who is also going to be the mother of my children, then, you know what I mean, then I'm pretty much not interested. I don't want to sleep around. I don't want to date around. I don't want any of that. I'm so tired of the BS that comes with that, and I understand people who feel opposite to that, but I definitely have become, and trying to become, but in my pursuit of trying to become a better Christian, and by that I simply mean trying to listen to God when I try to talk to Him, and I walk through life and I feel like there are certain things that pop off, or I feel like He's trying to communicate back to me, a direction for my life. And, sometimes that means I don't look at promiscuity as a good thing. I look at it as just going the opposite direction of what I'm interested in, which is a monogamous relationship. I was going to say partnership, but in that they are my life partner, but they are also my wife. You know what I mean? Like, that would be awesome. And that is the ecstasy. Never mind the ecstasy. That is the meat and potatoes. I don't want to eat candy all day. I want proper meals, pun intended, but I want proper, food for the soul. Not dating, just potentially diseased women, and certainly emotionally fucking diseased women. I'm not... What is the point in exposing my body and, the mental stress of it all? What's the point knowing that I'm aware of the stress that comes with sex and all of that and the drama? Why would I bring somebody else into that drama? It's like, unless you are my freaking woman and I am your man, and we feel the exact same way, which is why we're together, that is the only way I want to pursue sex at all. That's just how I feel. It took me a very long time to get to this point. I'm 29, and again, as I've been pursuing God more, it's very obvious what I need to step away from, and it's not so much obvious what I need to do as far as like occupation or, where I want to live. I have things that, tickle my fancy. Living by the coast, it sounds great. But I think it's easier for me to recognize things that God maybe doesn't want me to do rather than what He wants me to do. But that could be a personal, issue. That could just be a personal, like, how people have like that, what is it? It's like a bias, but it's like, I don't know what the damn phrase is, but you're consciously, ignorant of a certain thing. So maybe I'm just consciously ignorant of the things that God wants me to do, and I'm choosing to be aware of the things that he does not want me to be doing, because maybe it's a little bit more tangible, and it affects me more emotionally because it means I'm giving up something, rather than taking on something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess in that sense, responsibility kind of is what God is trying to drop in my lap. But just to wrap things back to, the whole sexual conversation, no need to reveal them, no need to reveal any of that details. The point is, I don't want to do little side quests on the way to my destiny, with respect to, like, just having promiscuous sex with women in my hometown for the short period of time that I'm going to be living here. Again, just no, none of that. The fact that I'm even here, living in upstate New York again, the fact that I'm back here, already makes me feel like, many different feelings, but I certainly feel like, all right, I really wish I was not here. So me associating myself with anything or anyone, definitely feels like, okay, well, I don't want to get too close. I don't want to get too committed. And obviously if you sleep with somebody, you could end up with a baby or diseases and just emotional distractions and all of that BS that takes you away from saving money and putting a plan together to move and buying a car and all these things that, require focus and discipline. I feel like when you start taking on these little side quests, then you are of the mentality that these things are worthy of your time and effort, when you could take 5 seconds to look at your life and realize, oh yeah, these 5 out of 7 things I'm doing are shit. So fuck that. I'm gonna focus on these other things. These 5 things don't lead towards that little dream fantasy. When you're laying in bed and you're scrolling, hopefully not, but you're just laying in bed and you're just thinking about, wow, it'd be so cool if for me personally, I just think if I got really good at surfing, if I kicked ass and saved my money and got a decent car and moved to where I could be quasi near the beach in a beach town, find work there, and just slowly build my life, and enjoy being by the beach and enjoy surfing. I think I would love that, and eventually to be with a woman who also loves surfing, or maybe she's into YouTube, but certainly if she's a surfer, I would be extremely hyped, because then I would have a partner in the ocean, someone I could be surfing with, and we encourage each other and all that stuff, which is fucking awesome. I would so love that. Not because I need someone else to motivate me to go surfing. Surfing is pretty cool. Anybody who surfs has their own motivation to go. But I think just for the sake of the, social battery, the emotional tank, I think it really is helpful to have, your most closest loved one to be there with you, and they fully understand exactly what's going on because they surf too. I think that'd be awesome. And I know a lot of people probably think, like, if I'm thinking fantasy, then she's some bikini babe or whatever, which she can be. But I'm not, like, discriminating in any particular, way. There's all types of surfers, all body types out there. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm over here thinking she's got to be a fucking professional surfer with a fucking banging body or whatever. That I get it. We're talking about sex. We're talking about sex appeal. So physical stuff comes up. There are certain health things that I think we should all consider. But just to get to one little detail, I've noticed, like, the different women that I've been with over the years, the different girlfriends that chose to be with, there was always something about them that was a little bit different. Maybe they were more confident than the other girls. Maybe they were louder than the other girls. Maybe they were much quieter than the other girls. Maybe they were weirder, you know what I mean? But they were like comfortable with being weird. Maybe they were really like all focused in on being a freaking like motocross freaking bike rider or BMX, whatever they did. I think it was motocross, you know. But you get what I mean. Like, they always had something about them that was different, and that's what made me interested. Even down to like having freckles where other girls didn't have freckles, or whatever, you know what I mean? I think it's similar to how certain people view me, because right now I'm looking pretty white in the face because of these lights, but I think in general I'm a brown person, and my eyeballs, as you guys can tell, and you can tell in other videos and stuff, you know, they are on the green side. So I know that certain people probably look at me like, oh, that's a nice different thing, a unique feature, even though there's so many light skins with green eyes out here. I look around, you go to the grocery store, there was a freaking car that came through my job in the drive-through, and there was like 3 that I saw, probably 4, but there was at least 3 older light skins with like, you know, more bluer eyes, and they're like men, you know, a bunch of men in the car. And we're chatting about, you know, they brought up some like basketball player, like, oh, do you know this particular basketball player? Like, oh no, I don't really watch basketball. You know, and they could have been somebody super famous. I mean, they could have been in the car. I could have been talking with them. I have no idea. But they're like, oh, do you know this basketball player? Da da da. I'm like, I don't know. You know, my stepdad, he's definitely more like heavy into basketball, and me, you know, I like to watch professional surfing. And then they go, oh wait, God, you can, they have a sport like that? They have real surfing you can watch? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. The WSL, World Surf League, you can totally check that out. My personal favorite surfer is Carissa Moore. Now look, Carissa, you are my personal favorite surfer, but if I had to pick my favorite like surfing moment that I've seen, oh my gosh, sorry about that, then that would probably have to be from Stephanie Gilmore, because the layback that she did, I believe, against Carissa was, and they've had many heats, many times where they've had to surf against each other. This layback that she did was so badass. It was so fucking badass that she has all of my respect. And meaning, like, Carissa, you have all of my respect, and yet that one fucking thing. By the way, I mean, Stephanie Gilmore, 8-time, you know, world champion, world title holder for the women in the WSL. So she is a fucking Goliath. Is that appropriate to say? She is tears above the rest of the people in her field as far as achievements, especially in world titles. So I'm not taking anything away from her. Comparing the two of them is tough, and people do it all the time because they are the top world title holding women in the league. So, you know, it's those two. So obviously they're going to be, and you know, they're going to be compared a lot. But yeah, favorite surfer, Carissa. Favorite wave surfed, certainly Stephanie Gilmore. I've looked for that scene, showed friends. You know, I love that scene so much. I do. Scene, that clip, whatever. I love it. I love it. It was so great. Not a scene in a movie. It was real surfing. I don't know why I said scene. So, yeah, I just told the guys in the drive-thru, yeah, this is what's up. I like surfing. These are the people that I watch. I told them about it, and they were like, "Oh, you should tell this one in the back. You should take him surfing or whatever." Uh, you know, I see these Instagram pages of these people who host like surf trips and stuff. I think her name is like No Shoes, No Worries or something like that on Instagram, and she may have her own website and all that. And I say, I guess, check her out. I followed her for a while because I was getting interested in surfing and surf trips, and I wanted to learn more. And she's just one of the, I'm sure, many influencers who do the same thing. But I just liked the name, and she seemed like she had a nice bright smile, which we like to see in surfers. But you can have no teeth and be a cool surfer too, so no worries out there. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I've thought maybe I could do something like that. Maybe Peace from the East could evolve into a surfing brand, which I did make a Shopify page for Peace from the East. And I had so many different ideas for how I wanted to go about doing that. It's weird. It's like, do I really want to open up a store around surfing where I will be moving, but right now, nothing in my daily life is surfing. Nothing. Aside from me choosing to watch something on YouTube or on the WSL website, which I usually just watch the live streams on the WSL YouTube channel. I seldom actually go to the website itself to watch what's going on. I usually just go to the website and look at the rankings, and I hardly ever really do that. So whatever we were talking about, I can't remember, something about surfing and watching and all of that. I thought about making Peace from the East into its own surfing brand, and bro, that's still possible. I'm not saying it's never gonna happen. I'm saying it's an idea that I've floated, but I don't feel like in this stage of my existence that I want to, because if I were to be near the beach more, I would want to record a lot more content. I really, for myself, just want to get more waves. I want to catch more waves under my freaking belt so I could actually be like a proper surfer who in 2 hours can catch 2 waves. Like, that would be amazing, and to be better than that would be even better. But that would be like my number one goal, is to get that. Not creating a surf brand, but actually surfing. Like, I actually want to do the actual thing that I would be promoting the lifestyle of. But yeah, it feels a little bit fake though, because again, I'm nowhere near the ocean, and surfing isn't a part of my daily life. And I want, if Peace from the East became something, bigger, or even now, I don't want to misrepresent. Like, imagine how many brands are out there, on a particular lifestyle, and those motherfuckers, they don't even participate really, It's weird. And I wonder about those travel vloggers, the ones that like, I'm in this place, I'm in that place. Do they just like do a bunch of traveling, sit on the footage, and then they're like back home in Wisconsin just like churning out the content? Or are they literally like constantly traveling? There's probably a mix. There's certainly a mix out there. But yeah, I don't know. I've been looking up apartments in Wilmington. I almost said Rhode Island. Wilmington is one of the like beach cities. I was also looking at like Jacksonville. These are like the southern, the southeast part of North Carolina, the southeast coast. And if you go a little bit further down on the coast, then you're gonna hit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and all that. So that's cool. And nothing is wrong with South Carolina. I just figured I don't need to go all the way down there just to get what I'm looking for, which is just, just surfing and cheaper rent. I know that sounds very basic, but I don't have a lot of things that I want in my life that I'm so willing to work for. Surfing and moving to a new place, yeah, that's pretty dope. Okay, I'll work for that. If I lived in the desert or whatever and I really, really just fell in love with snowboarding, I would try to move somewhere where I could actually do that. At first, I would try sandboarding, realize that it's not snowboarding. Then I would probably pursue surfing if I was close enough. But if I really like snowboarding, bro, I'm gonna move. Just like any of us. If you're an Anglophile, you want to move to England. If you're Francophile, you want to go to France. If you're a weeb, you want to go to Japan. So there's so many reasons why people move. There's so many things that we attach to our purpose, in life as individuals, and I'm one of those people. I certainly am, and that's okay. I don't mind. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Let me take a sip of the water, guys. I'm gonna put this mic down for a second. Not that you can't still hear me, but yeah, I need a quick moment here. Yeah, I've been looking at the beach cities and stuff, but it's gonna take me a little bit to get there. Now, here's why I've been thinking North Carolina might be the new goal, whereas the last episode, the last episode, I think, so I recorded a whole episode and I did not, I edited it, it's ready to go. I just never posted it. I feel like I recorded it and edited it, and then I kept re-listening to it, and that was the problem. I listened to it back multiple times over a couple of days, and the things that I was saying, my opinion and whatever, was shifting daily. So it felt fake to upload a podcast episode wherein I mention a perspective that would have needed to be updated in a further episode, but it just felt fake. Like, why am I gonna upload this when I should just record a new one with my new ideas? But that was, I think that is just that perfectionist mindset that gets YouTubers like me to not post anything, which is not cool. That's not good. So, as we are approaching the end of March, it is the 24th, and that's cool. Another week, and we are in April, which is exciting. It's crazy, but here's kind of like my loose idea for what I think is actually going to be happening. I have started saving on some real, actually saving status, like how I did when I first moved to Rhode Island. That's what I was saying before. In the past, I thought, I didn't show you guys because I didn't upload the video, but I thought, I'm gonna maybe entertain moving back to Rhode Island. But in Rhode Island, it would be a easy transition. It was nice to be out there. But for my time that I spent exploring Rhode Island, and I never wanted to explore all of the rural parts anyway. I never wanted to go and visit every damn beach that they have, I just wanted to experience life genuinely in Rhode Island, and I genuinely did. I went to court in Rhode Island. I rented an apartment in Rhode Island. I gave my cat to the ASPCA in Rhode Island. I, worked different jobs. I had a job where I drove Amazon, so I was traveling all around, Massachusetts, and I was doing DoorDash all around, and Uber all around Rhode Island. So I really did get the run of a lot of the areas of Oh, Rhode Island. Sorry about all the beeps, guys. I'm just trying to pay attention to the fact that I have to be to work. Um, but yeah, just I lived life genuinely. I lived life genuinely in Rhode Island. I was me. I was me all the way through, and it was good. It was a good time. Um, yeah, it was just a good time. So, do I really want to go back? Here's what I want to do. I want to finish saving, and you never finish saving. But I've got some quotes on some vehicles, and I want to look at a few more, to be honest. But I got some quotes on some vehicles, and I just want to, get a decent car, probably an SUV. Got Joey Diaz in my ear, so he's telling me to get a fucking Subaru, based on a video I saw of him talk about Subarus recently. And I have considered moving to Jersey too. Last year I talked a little bit about that because I thought it'd be a quick and easy move. I could very easily find work, and why not see what Jersey is like while I'm in upstate New York? Like, it'd be like, I'm not gonna want to move to Jersey if I'm already living wherever it is I'm living. I'm already here. Why not just give it a try? I mean, I moved to Rhode Island not because, like, imagine if I lived in Texas and I'm like, let me move to Rhode Island. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. No one. I did that because of where I lived and what I was willing to do at the time with the resources that I had. That is why I moved to Rhode Island, because I wanted to pursue surfing, and I didn't want to have a super crazy experience. I'd already been to Rhode Island once, and I knew, fuck it, I want to move there because it's an accessible distance and all of that. So that was cool. I have my Rhode Island driver's license, which only lasts for a year, so I kind of feel like I just want to get my New York driver's license, even though I plan on leaving New York this year. But it is what it is. So yeah, I've considered Jersey, and honestly, guys, I could go to Jersey for a year, just for 2026. I could go to Jersey for 2026 with my car and no kids and no pets, have an apartment, work, fast food job or DoorDash or whatever. I'm not saying live out of my car. I do want to have at least a studio apartment. I know people live out of their cars. I'm just saying. I guess if it comes down to it, but I don't. That's not the goal. But yeah, I think I could actually be in Jersey, spend that time traveling to the city, enjoying Jersey, just like how I did in Rhode Island. Enjoy Massachusetts, enjoy Rhode Island. I could live in Jersey and enjoy Jersey and live in Jersey, but also go to New York. I think that'd be cool, but I'm not so, I don't know. I'm more interested in doing the surfing thing than the New York City thing. Okay, you know what I mean? It's cool, I guess. It's cool. It's not really a draw for me. I know that sounds silly, but the city is not a draw for me. And I know, I live in upstate New York. So many people up here come up from the city, and they're like, I'm tired of the city, or the city is so much better than the capital region, blah, blah, blah. And you hear all these perspectives. And people who aren't from New York at all, not from Jersey, not from our area, they'll look at New York like, oh my God, the city, the city, the city, the city. Which I get it, but whatever. It is what you make of it, you know. If you want to walk around, go to restaurants, spend money, like you can do that in every major city everywhere. It's the sights that you want to see. It's the fact that you're in New York City that makes you feel like more hyped, which, oh my God, New York, like I get it. But I'm from here. I've been to the city a handful of times over my lifetime, you know, and I just don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit. But it's cool because I didn't really participate in a lot of the adult stuff. I don't really drink, guys. I don't really drink. I don't really drink. So I know you can still have a good time, but it's like I don't really drink, and I can be pretty satisfied with a cheap meal, you know. So like going to restaurants, and I own like 5 outfits, like whatever. Like I don't have, you know, the desire to get dressed up. Whereas, you know, family members of mine, like one of my older brothers, he's like, you know, he's more about that. All the outfits, dressing like a grown man, haircut, line up, looking like a grown man. Like what these women, you know, what they expect out of us. Like the women, not the girls, but the adult women, they'd like to see a man dressed like a man, which I appreciate. And I get that. I just don't care to, at least I haven't in my 20s. But maybe in my 30s I'll start to pretend to be someone else and go out and do these things. I'm kidding. But I'll just, you know, allow myself to try some new stuff and have the maturity of a 30-year-old going into a 20-year-old's world of outings. And I think that's okay. Long as I'm not interacting too much with the youngins. But no. So yeah, if I moved to Jersey, I would probably enjoy myself because I would want to go to the different beaches, you know, I would want to travel, you know, see what Philly's like. I would enjoy myself, but I would only want to be there for a year. You know, I hate that because I'm a romantic, I really do always consider finding love. Like, I got to, you know, a back and forth with an ex. This is why you leave your exes alone, I guess. Or whatever you do, I don't give a fuck. But we were talking, and, you know, it's the same female-male conversation. You're obsessed with sex. And when they say that to me, just like how that other person I brought up, they didn't say I was obsessed, but they were like, you know, would you have sex outside of a relationship? You know, would you just do that? I think it's the same thing with my reaction to my ex when they were telling me that all I cared about was sex. And I'm like, no, this is why we didn't work out, because you couldn't look, you weren't aware, you were whatever. You didn't appreciate how I viewed the relationship. I viewed the relationship as, this is it, and we're rocking until the fucking wheels fall off, meaning we're gonna stay together forever. So, like, that was my mindset. That's the only mindset I go into in relationships now, is if we're doing this, we are doing this, and we're doing each other forever. And I don't mean sex. What I mean is, in my heart and in my head, I have accepted that you are my piece of my life for the rest of my life. It's something I look forward to, something I'm happy about, blah, 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 blah. So when they reduced my interest in them to be purely a sexual desire, it really just shows you, like, these people, they're them. And if you know for a fact that you're not being appreciated, your perspective's not being appreciated, you can try to explain it all day long, but you know, oh, okay, got you. So this is very genuine to me. And they do not see me as being genuine. They see me as being the opposite, disingenuine. and they're not receptive to my explanation or caring about my perspective. Which is why the relationship didn't work out, obviously. Because if I take something as very seriously, meaning the relationship itself, but they take it as pick and choose and dismiss and omit all of these different things. It's just like, you never took this relationship as a serious thing. You never did. There's no way you could have. Because if you felt and viewed things the way that I did, then you would have so much more love and understanding for me, which they didn't have, which is okay. But these are the things that we need to learn ourselves as we walk through life, is that it doesn't matter how genuine you're being. If you're not being appreciated, if you're not being received, if you're not being heard, especially by the ones who are closest to you, then you have to accept that their role in your life doesn't reflect the reality of what they actually are in your life. You know, your girlfriend, you give them the title girlfriend or your best friend or whatever, but then they don't live up. What the reality is that there's someone close to you who treats you poorly. That's not what we're doing here. Not ever again for me, and I hope never for you guys, because we all want to, like I said, have that fantasy where you're thinking, wow, if I could just get really good at surfing and get with this, you know, and meet this girl who is also a Christian surfer who wants to get better, who's monogamous, who is on the same wavelength as me. Like that's true. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say, is that I want to live a life that I am on the proper wavelength, and if there's going to be people involved, girlfriends, wives, friends, chums, jobs, the way I spend my life, the way I even make my money, it's got to be on this wavelength of love and peace and, you know, just productive, and just no more toxicity, no more trash, no more waste, no more neglect, no more of these just providing a shelter for these negative things in our lives. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to see you guys do it either. I really want us all to just rise up, you know, and to dust off our boots and to just head in the direction that we know we need to go in. So, anyway. So yeah, that's something I've been considering. I called down to North Carolina, I've called to Jersey, and I've just said, hey, I work with so-and-so, you know, I've got this much experience, I'd love to transfer to your store or, you know, reapply as a new employee, you know, I'd love to see what this is like. Please, you know, let me, you know, like, it's crazy. You could be making like $18 an hour in, which is what I was making as a kitchen manager in upstate New York. So the reason why I'm saying upstate New York is because if you are making money anywhere in New York, you're probably going to be making more money than you would outside of New York in like these other, not so much Cali, but like these other states. So cost of living is higher in New York, so the rate of pay or whatever is going to be higher, you would hope. So minimum wage is going to be higher. Right now, I think minimum wage, I don't know what it is, but like McDonald's is hiring $15 plus. So it could be 16, it could be higher, something like that. So I was making $18 as a kitchen manager, which there are levels above me, service manager, and then store manager, and then district manager. So there was like levels and levels above me. I was the first level manager that you can be, responsible for the kitchen and food safety. I wasn't responsible for sending people on break or anything like that. Just while I'm on shift, I'm the kitchen manager. That is what I'm doing. So that's cool. But I was making $18, and those are my responsibilities. I'm ServSafe certified as a result of that job. Until 2028, I have my certification. So that's cool. and I did enjoy working for Chipotle. These jobs I can do like 20 hours a week. You know, not for the amount of hours that I've been doing. And that's what I'm going to do in the future. I'm going to have to say, hey, I want to work here, but so long as I have a car and I can do DoorDash and be free, I just need to work 20 hours a week so I can cover like rent. And if I really need to kick it into high gear, then I can do DoorDash and really scoop up some extra cash quickly and still be free, rather than I'm locked into 45 hours, which I'm currently locked into 45 hours at my job, which is great when you want to do 45 hours. That's all I'm saying. When you want to do full time, it's great to have, I got 45 hours, but that's just like my grind set. Like I feel like a chunk of the year, I don't mind doing that. If I have a reason, if I know I have to save up $4,000 for the reason of whatever, then I can do that. Let's grind $4,000. Let's get these hours up. But if I just am focusing more so on like stuff outside of work, just give me the minimum hours. I'll work what I need to work. I'll make sure that my bills are covered, and I'm gonna have more time to create, more time to edit, more time to travel and just actually live life. Right now, I'm able to live life, and in the times that I do, when I walk to a gas station and I take a different turn, I walk down a different road, and just to see, I notice there's different stuff happening in my neighborhood, different stuff happening in the world around me, and I think that's cool. It's nice to just see and experience life. I loved doing that in Rhode Island, just walking around, seeing different stuff. I loved that. So I'd like to experience that more. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I would like to experience that more. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, guys. I don't know. I know that I don't want to go back to Rhode Island. I know that I do want to pursue surfing. And I know that I'm on my way to getting a car. When I get the car, guys, I'm hoping I can have, I don't know, maybe $5,000 cash. I mean, if I, that's like my goal. If I can get like $5,000, like in my pocket, just saved, and then have my car as well, and then find a place, just get that quick 2-month, first in security or whatever. Like, I'm gonna be out of here. I talked to my mother, and she was like, "Look, I want you to move for your sake. You're mental. You are a nomad. You are not somebody." And she's like agreeing with me, but just based on everything I've always told her, I think there's like a couple of things going on. My mom said she's like, I don't want you to waste your life. I want you to go live your life now. Don't saddle yourself up with thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. Don't go, like, try to be creative. Be creative, use your brain. You already are a creative boy, as she would talk to me. I'm a creative son of hers. We all are in our different ways. We all are. All my brothers. But she knows, she's in her 60s now, and she's traveled, Costa Rica, Mexico, fucking, she's left the country multiple times. And I don't know. I appreciate, she's like, look, you don't want to wait. Like, she's like, I got my house, I've had my children, I'm traveling, I want you to not wait until you're in your 60s to be doing, all this stuff. My mom had her first, my oldest brother at age 27. So I'm 29 and I have no kids. So she's kind of like, hey, you've done your traveling, you've gone to New York City. Sorry, I was just gonna say you've gone to New York, which is what New Yorkers call the city. But yeah, you've gone to the city. I've gone to Jersey City, Newark. Just traveled Massachusetts, a little bit of Vermont. Certainly Boston, a little bit of Connecticut, certainly Rhode Island. So I don't know. I'm definitely someone who likes just travel and see more. And I will, I will see more. It's easy to just stay in the same loop and not do anything and not go anywhere. But for me, it's kind of easy to travel because of not liking to sit still. But she gets it. I haven't left the country, but she knows that I've traveled around in our northeast area. And she's just encouraging me to keep it going. And, why not really push? Because she knows that surfing was something that I really want to do. And I even considered going to Hawaii, but lately I've kind of lost confidence in that. Because, she's been to Hawaii too. I've never been to Hawaii. But for right now, I don't need to go to Hawaii. I think what I need is to get a car, travel my, continental U.S. I think I'm probably going to remain on the East Coast, be it North or Southeast Coast, for the next, year, 2 years, 3 years. I think at some point I'm going to want to see what Santa Cruz is like. And I'll either just travel to Cali. I don't see myself living there, but it could. I don't really see it, but it could happen. I'm open to a lot of things. Like, if there was a job opportunity or a reason to be there, it's California. It's not like it's good. Oh my God, I gotta move to Idaho with you. That sucks. No offense if you're from Idaho, but it sucks if you're a surfer. Then yeah. But yeah, that's just what I've been pondering. Ponder replay. Oh, Mr. DJ, can you turn the music up? That is how old I am, guys. That's how old I am. So, yeah, and I think I've thought of this before. Like, what if my significant other needs to move to a particular place? I say, because hopefully this woman is going to be a surfer too, that's going to be prioritized to where whatever it is that we decide to do, we both want to live by the beach, as close as what's practical for our lives. So, I'm open, but still kind of like have an idea for what I want. So yeah, guys, my mother, she wants me to, in the past, she said, by June, you should definitely be, getting the fuck out of here. But I think she was just trying to encourage me. But ultimately, we kind of settled down on September. Could be anywhere between June and September. But September will give me the most amount of time to save up the most amount of money. And I can just, I don't know, I can just go do the thing, I think if I can wait, I think I'll have a car by June, April, May, June. I think I'll have a car by May, or maybe I'll push it till June, but I'll certainly have a car by at least June, and July, August, September. If I could leave in August, maybe, I don't know, but it would be really nice to get my car by June and to continue saving. So by September, I can still have all of September to enjoy surfing in wherever the heck I'm going. If I do go to Jersey, then I'll have a nice month of still surfable weather. And then of course I have my winter wetsuit and stuff, so I think that would be cool. But if I were to move to Jersey, I wouldn't want to wait all the way till September, because that's kind of what I did when I moved to Rhode Island. I moved in October or November, I think. I think it was November 1st is when I moved in. So it would really suck if, I move there in the winter again, and then I don't really get to experience why I moved there. I immediately just step back into like an upstate New York winter experience. So that's kind of annoying. Obviously, it's in a new area. I can experience new stuff. All that is cool. But it is kind of disappointing. But when the summer comes around, the spring comes around, then, shit is popping and it's exciting. So no matter when I move there, I think I'm going to enjoy it. And if I move to Jersey, I'll have plenty of stuff to do. If I move to North Carolina, I'll have plenty of stuff to do as well. So I think it's more so just about what do I actually feel like doing. So I don't know, but I'm going to spend, I think I will feel much more confident on what's actually going to happen when I have the car. Not having the car, I feel like anything can happen, but having the car, it's like, I don't know how long I'm going to really want to be like, okay, now I'm in the position to leave. Don't know how much longer I'm going to stay here because I'm in the position to leave now, And that's how I felt when I first moved to Rhode Island, but I had a lot of discussions with my brothers as I was saving, coming up $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and just about $5,000. Like, when I got to that point, all throughout those points, I'm chatting with my brother, and, he's like, oh, you got 2,000. I mean, you could dip now if you want. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really want to leave with such little money, because I know it'll disappear like that, and it did. But yeah, $5,000 is nothing. It's nothing when your rent is over $1,000. First security, boom, now you're down to $3,000. You got to buy a bed, now you're down to $2,500 or something like that. Or $2,700. 1 month's rent, boom, for the next month, now you're down to $1,600. Then another month, now you're down to $500. And that's assuming you spent no money. And also assuming you made no money, but that's the point, is that that's only a couple months and then you're broke again. So that's just something to consider. $5,000 is not a lot of money. It's enough to get you started, but it's not like so much money that it'll change the world. Like, that's definitely not the case. Now, I could certainly rant for another hour, but I can see that my battery on my GoPro is getting very low, so before it dies on me, I appreciate you guys so much for watching and listening to the Peace from the East podcast. I really do love doing this, and wherever I end up living, which is why I want to live in an apartment, at least a studio, so I can do things like record comfortably, have a bed, a proper bed. Sure, I could record all of this in a van and live in a van and do that, but that I just don't like the insecurity of that. Maybe in the future that'll change, or probably not. For doing stuff on the internet, editing, recording, living, putting the key in the door, locking the door behind you, and knowing that you're in your space and you came home from work or whatever the fuck it is, having a place to live is, I mean, we're not animals, nothing is wrong. Look, I'm not saying you're an animal if you live in your car. What I'm saying is I like comfort. I like being in an apartment. I like the life of living in an apartment. And though you can get a lot of that in driving around, I want to, I don't want to live in the same apartment for 10 years in a row or something. Like, that doesn't sound like something I want. Right now, I just want to live here for a year, live there for a year, live here for a year, move there for a year. Oh, I really fuck with this place. All right, let's settle here for a little while. That's what I want, And I could get what I want faster if I just lived in my car, which is why I watch videos on it. I get it. I could live in Walmart parking lots or whatever the fuck, and park there and enjoy the city and get a job there and live out of my car until I could afford an apartment, or just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could do that. But I don't like that idea. If anything were to happen with the car, then all of a sudden everything turns to shit. So definitely don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. I'd rather just be a normal person who serves as an apartment that can bring their shit inside, a place to sleep, 4 walls, a bathroom, shower, like just the basics. I want the basics. I need the basics. But who knows? In the future, I could clip this, and then you'll see me living in some chick's fucking VW van or something, traveling the country. That could happen too. Because again, no wife, no kids, no responsibilities. I have nothing going on in my life that I'm working on. I'm just a vagabond. I don't know if I'd say that. I'm just a feather in the wind. I really am. Anyway, I thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys check out Peace from These podcasts. The next episode, where we talk about, I don't know, whatever happens to be on my mind at the time. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.